Good morning to all. So I propose not to show the slide, okay, and just allow me to tell you a little story. But first a question. Do you have seen the movie Lucy? Does it ring a bell? Raise your hand. And so I would like to use this science fiction movie and to put it in your head during the little stories that I am going to rapidly propose you. In this movie, indeed, we are speaking about unlocking fully to 100% someone's capabilities, okay? And so my question here to you is, what if you and me would be capable to unlock in full our potential, not to 50%, but to 100%? And what if an organization would be able to do just the same, to unlock the collective potential of the workforce, not to 50%, but to 100%? What if, imagine, nothing would be impossible. So when I was in the heavy industry, in the steel industry, we have faced many things. We have faced crisis, we have faced merger and acquisition lately. We were very late compared to other industries, so we had big gaps to fill. Still, we may still be behind in certain area. Then we faced crisis again after the mergers, and then I had this great opportunity to participate to a spin-off when Arcelor Mittal decided to put aside the stainless steel division and the specialty steel division, and to participate to the birth of this newly born company. That was in 2011, so it's not so long ago. It's still a young company. It's named APERAM. Maybe you have never heard of it, but it's 9,000 employees in 3 big countries, Brazil, France, and Belgium, but also present in 30 other countries. And the first 3 years were quite hard. We were losing money. We had no cash from the bank. The treasurer would come in my office and say, Johanna, next week I cannot pay the bank. Okay? So we were quasi-bankrupt. We managed by self-program to make a big turnaround. And after 2013, we managed to bring profit again, and things that were before impossible. Well, in fact, they were possible, okay? So everybody was telling us it is impossible to be as competitive as Chinese. Well, we made it, okay? We became as competitive as Chinese companies that were our biggest competitor in stainless steel industry in the last years. We also made it to become investment grade, and this is a story I have to tell you. We were with our leadership team in March 2016, and one of the biggest analysts in London came to tell us how he was proud that we have been re-rated 3 times in the last year. That meant that we had the best balance sheet of the industry. We were strong, but he was mentioning this, don't dream to become investment grade. It is not, you are not such animal to pretend to become investment grade. Can you imagine when we show 1 year later to the same crowd this movie and we had just been re-rated to investment grade? So all these experiences gave me some convictions, some strong conviction, very strong conviction, and I want to share them with you. The first one is for me that people is key, okay? It's people who bring ideas, it's people who are prototyping, not even prototyping, I don't like this word, but experimenting the ideas to make it some positive outcomes. And it's again people who are integrating all the ideas and experiment to finally make decision and move on, okay? So some people think that the culture is everything and that you can put any people in this culture and it will work. For me, it's just the opposite. I think that people make the difference. The second conviction I've had is that, and I will maybe take a caricature, I think that anybody can learn anything. Anybody can learn anything. I repeat it. It's a strong conviction. I should say provided. Indeed, provided the person is in the right environment, and provided he or she is ready to cope with hard work and hard work. Okay? And my third conviction is that in this world which is changing, and we are not even now speaking of transformation, I think we are speaking of constant evolution in the sense of Darwin. The one who will survive are not the intelligent one, the strong one, but the one capable to adapt faster. I think to get this agility as an organization, you really need to unlock the full potential, not of a small group of people, but of your entire workforce. Okay? So now the themes for today for me were twofold. How to unlock your and my potential. I'll be very brief, and maybe we can still discuss after, and how to unlock the organization's full collective potential. So on the first side, I think I have to stop some myths, or to erase them. I don't think that great achievers are always intelligent people and talented people. Okay? There is nothing wrong with being intelligent, and there is nothing wrong to have a particular talent. Don't mistake my words. But I just think it's not enough. What if you are very intelligent and come into do a great school, join a company, and then say, finish with learning? You'll get no achievement. What if you come from this very good school, but at the end you are bored after 6 months on any job that is given to you? You will never succeed any great achievement. It takes time to get to a certain level of expertise. Okay? Same thing with talent. You may have a particular talent, but if you don't put effort, you will never manage to transform your talent into some kind of competencies that the enterprise needs. And there again, it's not enough. Once you have a competency, you still need to put hard work to get some outcome. Okay? So the only message here is that I was in HR, we were discussing IQ, talent, etc. For me now, I don't look at that anymore. What I really think and what I have lived from great achievers is that they have all the same characteristics. First of all, they have a strong interest. I should even say they are passionate. What I have seen is stainless steel. I had not seen it before in the carbon steel. But people, they love the product. I had some head of region coming in my office and telling me, Johanna, my job, it's my life. Okay? I remember interviewing someone who had stayed in the stainless steel division, and as an HR, I was wondering, why have you stayed in stainless steel? Or this time you could have gone to carbon steel, to mining, to Brazil, to Ukraine. You stayed in Europe in stainless steel. So he started to tell me that story, that yes, I can construct myself, a full manager, I've been project, I've been CEO, I've been this, I've been that. And then he stood up. He said, come with me, Johanna. And then he showed me little pieces of stainless steel. He said, look, this is polished stainless steel. This is brushed stainless steel. This is mirror stainless steel that we did. And so I remember only one thing that I put in my notebook, going back, passionate. Okay? The second thing, besides having a strong interest, is to have a purpose. Okay? And when you speak of a purpose, you speak of something that goes behind yourself. I remember a very good manager in Belgium whose purpose was to ensure in the long term that we would always have an industry in Europe, stainless steel industry in Europe. Okay, that's a purpose that makes you move. I had a manager in Brazil who was saying, my purpose, Johanna, is that I want to be really successful with my company and be able to fund my foundation and build schools so that the communities in the Minas Gerais states in Brazil will learn something, get jobs, and achieve for them as well. So I really think that great achievers have all one simple purpose that goes beyond themselves. Then after, we come always to the same thing I've told you again and again. It's hard work, hard work, hard work, and hard work. Deliberate practice, getting out of your zone of comfort. The world is moving, moving, moving. You cannot stop being a hard worker. I remember one of our sales guys, more than 20-year experience, probably the most experienced manager in the whole stainless steel industry in distribution, coming every day to me saying, Johanna, what can I do to be fit for my job? Okay? He was at that level of mastery of his role, on his role at least. Every day his first question was that. Then I think there are still two very important, one more element with great achievers is that they persevere. We have faced crisis, and again crisis, world is moving. You cannot stop at the first step back, okay? You need to ensure that you continue, okay? And the problem is, I have faced that a lot in my company, is that there is a tendency to confound a failure at work and a personal failure. It's not because you fail a project that you are a failure, okay? For me, you are a failure when you start blaming others for what has been wrong, what has been going wrong. But as from the moment you take the necessary step back to learn from your failure, to sometimes even go higher than what you were, where you were before, I call that to have fulgurance, then it's nothing to fail, okay? It's even necessary to progress. So this was, for me, how, you know, the common theme for great achievers. Huh? So it has been said this morning again and again, you know, it's a question of attitude, it's a question of mindset. Then, now it's more complex. How can we unlock the full potential of an organization? In the context of organization needing to be agile. And for a heavy industry, it's not an easy task to be agile. Well, there I think that the organization have to face a few dilemmas. Because they have to find the right balance, if I may say so, in areas which are sometimes conflicting. And Mr. Modwell touched based one this morning is when we were in a crisis, we had on the one hand, we were always saying that development was as important, objectives were as important than performance objective. They count at 50-50. Well, it's true that in crisis time we tend to focus short term, development takes time, takes resource, trial and error before becoming something on which you can perform. Organization, and my organization in crisis times, we have put down people development wrongly, because it's particularly at the moment where you are in difficulty that you need your people to learn and bring new ideas. So this is the dilemma I think that organizations have to face, is find the right balance between development and performance, knowing that we have no choice. Companies need to be at the same time highly efficient on the one hand and highly innovative on the other hand. The second, I would say, dilemma is on the one hand, you need to be supportive. I've heard the word trust a lot of time this morning. And yes, indeed, you need to be supportive to your people. But at the same time, if you want to bring lots of ideas, lots of new ideas to be agile, you need to allow confrontation. You need to allow dissent at all levels of the hierarchy. And sometimes in my company, we have been supportive, but leading to not to a groupthink type of discussion where everybody would agree. And we have not managed to bring up enough ideas because of that. So I think that for the future, organizations have to rethink the way they do support to their workforce in such a way that they will seek, you know, to have confrontation. And to have confrontation, you need diversity, okay? So we need to use the Brazilian team, the French team, the Belgian team, the women, the experience, the new generation. Let them have open and constructive confrontation to bring as many ideas as possible. And for that, indeed, trust is key. Another dilemma which faces organization is that when you have all those ideas and you need then to implement them. And there, the dilemma will be, do you take a structured approach or do you let a bit of improvisation to your team? Do you let them experiment? We made in our company some mistake, taking a very structured approach to deploy our project. And sometimes we have to make a step back. One time we had 2 great ideas. We decided to choose one to prototype, and then suddenly we saw it was not the right decision. And we had to step back and let the 2 initial ideas move on their way. And now they are running full speed, both of them. Probably in a few years we will abandon one of the 2. But it was a failure of us to go into a very structured way and not letting some kind of improvisation and experimentation in the putting the ideas into action mode phase. And then last but not least, and I will finish there, I think that we really need to revert the hierarchical pyramid in the sense that it is so important. At our company, we were 9 leaders and 9,000 employees. Huh? I think that you need to think of the other way around, where indeed the leadership team will favor ideas coming from everywhere. If I may take this example, leadership team is there to set the scene, but not to perform on the scene. Let the 9,000 people perform on the scene, and then there will be obviously the difficulty to put that all together to go into the good direction. But you would miss so much to work the other way around. So, this being said, I think that leadership and people are key. We are going more and more towards a new kind of leadership, no longer the leadership in control like we used to have, where the leaders have a vision, they ask people to execute, they are focused on results, and they are controlling if the results are really coming, to, I would say, a leadership which is more under control, behind the scene, empowering the teams, focusing not necessarily only on results, but on ideas mostly. So to come back to the beginning of the speech, I think that leadership is really to create a space where indeed we can unlock the full potential, not of one, but from everyone within the organization. And then I can conclude not with a negative like at the beginning, where I say that from the Lucy movie, nothing is possible, but I would turn the sentence and I say, if you do that, then anything is possible. Thank you.